There we are. Good morning, PTNI's daily show. Happy Monday morning. Hope everybody's Monday is off to a great start so far. Hope your week is off to a great start so far. We are live here on Facebook, live here on Instagram, PTNI's daily show. I'll be your host, Alan, COO of ICE, faculty member in our fitness athlete division. Today on Q&A Monday. Judging by the lack of traffic out on the road, I think a lot of folks have a long weekend this week, so hopefully that's you. If not, if you're in the clinic, that's okay too. We're going to talk about a more clinical focused topic today. So we got a question in, and sorry for, knock it off, for some dogs fighting in the background. We got a question from Mitchell on Instagram wondering, kind of in general, how to go about changing viewpoints. Good morning, Kelsey. I see you there on Facebook. And so his question was kind of more fitness athlete related, how to engage with a clinic director that maybe is not on board with deadlifts, is not on board with kind of loading the low back for back pain, and kind of how to approach that subject when you have maybe come to an ICE course or learned elsewhere about using deadlifts for low back pain, or really anything, using squats for leg strengthening, any sort of those topics that are unfortunately still viewed as controversial, how to kind of get that person to believe what we believe. Really, that's kind of what we're thinking with that mindset is we know that these are effective. We know the research supports using them. How can we get that person to kind of change their viewpoint and how to tackle that, especially if they are somebody that is really, knock it off, if they are really opposed or even believe the complete opposite, that maybe deadlifts cause low back pain, that deadlifts hurt people, that sort of thing, squats are bad for knees, that sort of viewpoint. So how can we approach that? The first thing I'll say is be careful. It can be really easy to jump in with both feet and be eager here. Go. And be overzealous and attack these folks with research. And really come at them with both barrels. Come at them with the research, come at them with all sorts of proof and articles and case studies and say, look, you are wrong, I am right, here's why. And that almost never goes well. So avoid that at all costs. So that's my first point is avoid that urge to kind of be right and trump that person and show them all the articles on deadlifts or squats or heavy loading in the clinic or getting heart rates up, high intensity type exercise in the clinic with patients. Avoid bombarding them with that research, avoid bombarding them with case studies and that sort of thing, and kind of take the high road, ignore and outperform as Jocko would say, as Jeff would say, and tackle it a different way. What are some different ways that we can tackle it? The first way, and probably the best way, is to let kind of in the background, let your outcomes start to speak for themselves. So if someone in your clinic or multiple people in your clinic are saying deadlifts hurt people, deadlifts are bad for your back, squats are bad for your knees, that sort of thing, kind of just ignore them and continue doing it with your patients and let your outcomes speak for yourself. Morning, Will. I see you there on Instagram. Good morning. You will find that when you start to integrate deadlifts for back pain and squats for leg strengthening and start to integrate some remoms and higher intensity exercise and heavier loading, that folks get better faster. They get better kind of remarkably fast. It's can seem bad for business at times, how fast people get better. When you are starting to see people from initial evaluation to back to activity or transitioning them to a gym, and it's been 3, 4, 5, 6 visits sometimes of just heavy loading, and your coworkers, other folks in the clinic are maybe still on the 6, 8, 10, 12, 24, 36, however many visits insurance will pay for, train. Your outcomes start to speak for themselves. And again, that might be bad for business or seem like it might be bad for business, but we know that a lot of insurance companies are transitioning to pre-authorization. You're only getting so many visits. You might be getting a package of of 2 or 3 or 4 visits, and then that's all you get with that patient. And the more you fail to hit that mark, the less your reimbursement is from those insurance companies. So the more inefficient you are as a clinician in this day and age, the less you get paid, and that's going to start to show up in your performance. It's kind of a revenue generator, but also with the patients themselves, right? Nobody wants to come to physical therapy for 24 visits when they can come for 4 visits and get just as better, right? And so you will start to become the person that maybe is seeing people for a much, much shorter plan of care and getting the same results, but having that word of mouth referral overwhelmingly. That's kind of how we do it here at Health HQ. People get better faster, and it seems like that's bad because we want to keep them on board and build them for as long as possible. But what we see happen is that they go tell 2 friends who tell 2 friends who tell 2 friends, and it doesn't really seem to affect the bottom line business at all. And what we see happen is that patients get better faster, the business does just as well, and everybody wins. So my first point there is just ignore and outperform. Continue to be that weirdo in the clinic with your EMOM beeper, with getting people picking up heavy kettlebells and squatting heavy kettlebells, and just let your results speak for themselves. And you'll find sooner than later that other folks come over and ask what you're doing differently. Hey, what are you doing over there? What's that beeping thing? What are you doing with the kettlebells? Can we talk about that? Especially at that end of the year. It's that time of year where you start to get those report cards in the mail from the insurance companies, and you get your utilization grades. And if you're that A-plus clinician from Blue Cross that's getting reimbursed at 120% versus that D-minus clinician that can't see Blue Cross patients for 6 months because your inefficiency is so high, then you start to make yourself stand out as a different type of clinician, and folks in your clinic will want to know what you're doing and find out what you're doing without you even lecturing them on the science behind deadlifts and squats and that sort of thing. Without really even doing any extra work, they'll start to come to your side. My second point is to ask why. Ask those folks why they believe that, and try not to be judgmental here. Try not to be judgy. Why do you believe that deadlifts are bad for the back? Why do you believe that squats are bad for the knees? Why do you believe that picking up heavy stuff is bad? Why do you believe that getting your heart rate up is bad? Where do those beliefs come from? Why do you believe that? And start to dig into the belief systems here. Are they based on old evidence that maybe is just kind of an education thing? Are they based on maybe a personal bad experience with these movements, with this style of therapeutic exercise? Or is it kind of just unfounded? It's just kind of how most humans tend to operate, with kind of believing what mainstream folks believe and just not letting go of that belief. But uncover that deeper why. Is it something that it can be educated on, is worth spending the time educated on? Is it something maybe they just don't know how to do them? They've seen them done wrong before, and it's something that you can help them with. And that brings me to my third point, which is educate these folks. Once you start to make a difference and kind of stand out, and you've uncovered why the other folks in your clinic believe the way that they do, that's when you can bring in the education. So not front-loaded, but on the back end, and start to have in-services. Hey, I want to show everybody at lunch on Thursday how to do a sumo kettlebell deadlift. I want to show you the points of performance. I want to tell you who might be a good patient for it, who might not be. I want to talk a little bit about what the research says about loading the lower back for back pain and getting the back really, really strong to help manage back pain, but also reduce the incidents that it might occur in the future. So can we have an in-service Thursday at lunch and talk about that? Can we talk about squats? Can we talk about high-intensity intervals with REMOMs in the clinic to dose out our Therex? Can we talk about heavy loading and the effects that it has on especially conditions that are tendon-related? And that is a great kind of sequence to take yourself through versus starting out really, really, really abrasive and saying, well, the research says Hartman and colleagues back in whenever said this and that, and starting to quote research at people and becoming that person. Nobody really likes that person, not at the front end, right? You kind of have to work your way into that relationship and then hit them with both barrels. Once you've kind of proven that the way you're doing it is better, and kind of demonstrated, as Jeff says, talk less, demonstrate more. So really demonstrate that it's the right thing to do, the most efficient thing to do for our patients. And then once folks are kind of giving you that eye in the corner about what's going on over there, and starting to get a little bit more curious, then trying to find out why they believe what they believe and where you can hit them with the education. If it is a matter of they aren't up to speed on the research, if it's a matter of they don't know how to do it, they don't know when to do it or who to do it with, that sort of thing, helping them and come alongside them. But definitely don't start off the abrasive way. That never works well. It usually shuts people down, and you might never get a chance to change that clinician's mind. And it's likely that's what's happened to them in the past, is that they've had this belief, and somebody's challenged it really, really hard, and kind of had them tune out so much that they're no longer interested in hearing other viewpoints. So it's likely that somebody in the past already did that to them, and that's why they're even dug in more. Remember our motivational interviewing 101, the first reaction of any human being to being challenged is to kind of dig into your current viewpoint and hold the line. So we can't force people into that trench, or they'll never get out. So start by emphasizing performance and showing that it's a better way, and then tell why it's a better way and the supporting research, and help them learn how to do it as well. So I hope that helps. That's a really great question. That spans a multitude of topics, not just deadlifts and squats. That's something that is prevalent in pretty much every clinic with one idea or theory or another. So it's important to know how to tackle those. Definitely don't want to be that person citing the research, calling your colleagues dinosaurs and that sort of thing like we see on social media. That never, ever works out. So try that. You get more with a kind word than vinegar or whatever, right? More with honey than vinegar, however that saying goes. I like the Al Capone saying, you get more with a kind word and a gun than just a gun. I think that's a pretty good saying. I like that saying the most. So try that out in the clinic. That's it. Speaking, this is a really relevant topic, because tomorrow on Technique Tuesday, we're going to cover a lot of different ways to load the backup in the clinic and in the gym, and we're going to show a lot of ways that are not the deadlift, but are still going to load up the posterior chain and the paraspinal muscles that look nothing like a deadlift, but can still get the job done. I think that's a really nice tie-in to this topic. So very, very, very timely topic today on Q&A Monday. That's all I've got for you. If you won't be here tomorrow, I wish you all a very, very, very Merry Christmas. Hope you all have a great time off with your family and friends over the next couple days. Hopefully you've got the next couple days off. We will be rolling still with the Daily Show tomorrow, looking at topics to load the lower back in the clinic, and then Christina's going to jump on Christmas morning. So we'll still be here every morning, even if you're not in the clinic. We'll be here. That's all I've got for you. I hope you'll have a great Monday. Have a great week. If I don't see you the rest of the week, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Bye, everybody.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to the PT on Ice Daily Show. If you enjoyed this content, head on over to iTunes and leave us a review. And be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram at the Institute of Clinical Excellence. If you're interested in getting plugged into more ICE content on a weekly basis while earning CEUs from home, check out our virtual ICE online mentorship program at ptonice.com. While you're there, sign up for our Hump Day Hustling newsletter for a free email every Wednesday morning with our top 5 research articles and social media posts that we think are worth reading. Head over to ptonice.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to sign up.